Lilian.
Hold it.
All right, well. It does come up. All right. Well, if I could have the essential students come on up if they're ready. We had 3 essential students this year that I got to tutor. With tutoring, I've coached a lot with sports and I've taught music, but I've never taught writing, which going through this, I learned that boys and girls are a little bit different with writing, and boys tend to like to just describe what they see. And that's a lot like I was, and then I had to learn to teach these guys, as you will see, how they've grown with the English language. And it's also taught me a lot this year too, and I've learned a lot of the English language, so I felt like I was going through with them. But today we have them, and you'll see, when we started this year, they weren't bad writers, but we needed a lot of work. And I think each of them improved vastly with the English language and understanding the English language, going through verbs, and I really appreciate all you guys' hard work, by the way. And one of my favorite stories, and I tell my daughter this and my son all this, one of my favorite stories in the parables in the Bible is when a Roman asks to give a mile to carry his sack, you give him 2 miles, and I believe you guys gave me 2 miles this year, and I think you guys worked hard. So without further ado, I have certificates, and I kept running out of ink with each pen I wrote with, so we'll start with Jalen. Jalen Olson is my daughter. Hey, Next we have Josiah Poole. Yeah, Mr. Blackbeard himself here. Looks good, man. And Lilian. All right, without any further ado, we'll have Lilian go first and go age order, and then Josiah, and then Jalen, you'll end it, okay? Do you want to hold that for you? All right, you two. Wait. Shoo.
What was the nicest word there is? Laura Inglis Wilder. Laura was born in the Wisconsin woods, where she and her sisters were homeschooled. Laura wanted to write stories with the pioneer life, so she wrote children's books. Her first book was published in 1932. Today I am going to tell you how and what Laura did when she was a young girl living in the big woods. In the older days, kids did not call their parents mama, papa, daddy, and etc. Instead, they called them mom and pop. When the sun rose, it was working time, so they ate breakfast and started working. Pa did chores outside while Mom did chores inside. Laura and Mary tried to help, but couldn't do much because they were little. Laura despised Sundays because they couldn't play. All they were allowed to do was knit or just sit and listen to Pa read the Bible. They were so deep in the woods that the store was about 5 hours away, so they had to hunt. They grew their own garden to provide them with vegetables, raised their own meats as well. Whenever Pa shot an animal, they preserved, salted, and smoked it. They ate some of it that night and put it up for the winter. Laura wished they could eat it all the same night, but they couldn't. Laura's mom made her clothes. They did this owing to the fact that the store was so far away. She did go to the store once and got everything. It was a great experience for her. Laura had 2 dresses. They are expensive, so she had to be careful not to ruin them. While she and her family were at the store, she picked up too many pebbles and ripped her dress. She was sad, but Ma said it could be easily fixed. I hope you got some interesting information on Laura's home life, food, and clothes. Learning about how the family worked together to get chores done at their home was the most important. It was my favorite because it talked to what Laura and her family had to do surviving in the living part of their life. Laura is the best.
Yeah,